Coming up, I'm going to be talking about a brand new sports streaming service, which is going to be bundled with Disney Plus. Also talking about some more Avatar sequels. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at disneyplus.com. A quick Disney Plus news roundup. Let's start off talking about a brand new streaming service, which is going to be launching in the United States this coming fall, and it's being put together by three major companies. So Disney's ESPN will be teaming up with Fox along with Warner Bros. Discovery, and they're going to be creating a new untitled streaming service which is just for sports. It's going to be available through a bundle through Disney Plus, Hulu and Max. Don't know if it's going to be like available the content through it or if it's just going to be part of a bundle. So this new streaming service is a way of combining the sports from all three companies. They're all going to have a third stake in it. So this is their new way of kind of essentially offering like cable light, so you get access to lots of different sports. There's going to be NFL in there. There will be hockey, basketball, a little bit of a whole host of college sports and racing, all kinds of bits and pieces. So this is going to be combining linear channels along with content from ESPN Plus. This is a big game changer. We've been hearing Disney's been wanting to launch a new direct-to-consumer streaming service for ESPN. Now we don't yet know, it's not quite clear if this is that or if they're going to continue to do their own little thing as well. These deals are non-exclusive. None of the content on here will be locked on there. So that's one good thing. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how all this comes out. We expect to hear more about this pretty soon. It was all announced just ahead of today's quarterly results for both Fox and Disney, so we'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow. But yeah, so this is definitely some big news in the US sports side. So how this, I'm clear if this will impact anywhere outside of the US. At the minute, it's just focused there. No wording on pricing. People are estimating maybe $30 to $50 a month for this because it's going to have so much sports on there, and it's kind of like a cable light. So if you don't have cable and you want to watch live feeds of these sports, you're going to be able to have access to it. Kind of weird, I think, in some ways of kind of launching this right now. It is very much like a bundle. It kind of feels like the Hulu sports version, and we've seen how that went down. But this is a little bit different because everything's a bit more licensed content. It will allow the three companies also to continue to get an income from cord cutters while not completely losing them. Allows them then to compete with other companies like Netflix, Amazon and Apple, because then the three of them can then kind of bidding on stuff, but also together they've got a better chance of getting to a bigger audience, which is what the sports leagues wants as well. Yeah, this is all very interesting to see how all this is going to change, how much it's going to change before the fall. You know, is Disney still going to offer ESPN Plus? Is they still going to carry on with their plan, or are they going to integrate it in with Disney Plus? More questions than there are answers at this point. It's definitely just very strange to see how this is coming together. Again, rebundling rather than kind of going separate, but they have maybe realized that going separate, they just can't compete with the big boys. They just haven't got enough money. Now, ESPN on its own probably would have maybe stood a chance, but I think with having content from Warner Bros. Discovery and also Fox will give them a bit of an edge. Whether or not now Warner Bros. Discovery continues with their plan to launch the Bleacher Report as a paid add-on service within Max, that was set to launch. At the minute it's kind of free. Whether or not they pull back and go, no, we're just going to go all in on this new version. Yeah, it's definitely a big game changer. Was not expecting this. We know that Disney was looking for strategic partners for ESPN, and this might be that thing. You know, they wanted to look for people that could offer different alternatives, and yeah, now we've kind of got this new streaming thing. We don't know what it's called, what it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, but the fact that they're going to be able to bundle it with Max and also with Disney Plus / Hulu. But let's be honest, we're not quite sure what's going to be happening with Hulu by then. But yeah, by fall, I'm guessing it will be ready then for the college and the NFL return for the new season. But yeah, so I don't know. Very interesting to see how this comes together. Will it work? Will it not work? I don't know. Sports is a real strange thing because there's a lot of costs involved, but it's very expensive, and that's why the rights go up. I think separating it away, not integrating it maybe fully with Disney Plus or Mac, whichever way they did it, the cost would go up. And this is, yeah, it's going to be that question of, do you think it's worth it? It's going to depend on your sports and what you're watching at the time. But at least then it gives people an option. You know, if you don't Cable is going at some point, and there's less and less people that are leaving it, and they aren't going to be jumping in and getting YouTube and stuff. So at least now they've got a way of getting that money and keeping the customs and stuff. Will it work? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. Obviously, the integration with Disney Plus, that's very important from our point of view. You know, is it going to be available within it, or is it just going to be like it is at the minute, like with a bundle? Who knows? I could definitely see them putting it in there so you get access to it. But yeah, it's all a question of what's going on with this. But let us know what you think of the idea of Disney's ESPN teaming up with Warner Brothers Discovery and also Fox on this. But it's interesting as well, CBS was left out of this one. So, but who knows? Might be something that might change a bit later down the line. But let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Keeping on the sports theme, but one that I'm probably a little bit more better at, Rocket League. If you're a player of the game, from today there's a brand new limited event featuring the Mandalorian, and you can get new skins for your cars, and there's like banners and stuff, all kinds of bits and pieces. There's different bundles available. You know, you've got lots of different cars of different styles. You've got one that's like the Mandalorian, where he's then got like Grogu on the top. There's one like Bo-Katan. Yeah, so just, you know, if you're into Rocket League, definitely check this one out. I don't know if these ones are going to like pass over into that other rocket racing game that they recently launched. I haven't played Rocket League for a while, but this is kind of, I might give it a go. Might download it since it's free. Whether or not I buy these things, I don't know. I quite like the look of it, but let us know if you play Rocket League. Let us know. Are you going to be playing these and using the Mandalorian ones? It's not the first time we've seen Rocket League team up with Disney. Recently they did something with cars. They've also done something with Nightmare Before Christmas. And last year they did like a Star Wars Droids one. So I think we're going to see more of this here. And again, there's all kind of, it just makes sense for them to kind of do these little skin stuff. But let us know you're excited about this in the comments below. Let's now talk about Avatar, because this is a franchise that is going to continue to grow and grow. Obviously, it got released back in 2009 and was a massive success. And that set off James Cameron, the creator, to come up with a really big plan for the future. He planned multiple sequels, and he started putting together the scripts and stuff. But due to delays and the purchase of Fox and all the rest of it, things kept pushing back. But eventually we saw The Way of Water release in 2022, and another massive, big $2 billion plus movie. So big success. At the time, they also filmed most of the third film. And they've just gone back recently and just started doing maybe some reshoots, some extra things that they need to. They also filmed some of the fourth film as well while they were filming the third one, but they're looking to pick up the fourth filming once the third one comes out at the end of next year, because there's going to be like a time jump, and so therefore the kids will have grown up a bit, so that will mean that it will fit in a little bit better. And then there's going to be a fourth and a fifth film, but also James Cameron is also working on a sixth and a seventh film. He's already got ideas in place. He was at an event this past weekend in Los Angeles at the Saturn Awards, and he spoke with people, and he said, yeah, he's coming up with the plans and stuff for this. I think he's already said that he might not necessarily direct the fifth film, and I think it's probably just simply time, because that one's not due out, I think, until like 2031. And he's going to be 70 this year. So you know, it's just, you know, you're playing a game with time, and time always wins. You know, by the time 6 and 7 would come out, he'd be well into his 80s. Whether or not he can actually realistically do that, don't know. So he might have to step back from being a director. But the way he looks at it, he kind of takes inspiration from Star Wars and other franchises like Star Trek, where, you know, he says he's into something that he likes, and you know, they've inspired him, and he just wants to keep creating in that universe. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be just spending a lot of time in Avatar world for a lot longer. And I really enjoyed the two movies. I've been meaning to wait, and I'm going to want to pick up the new video game. I've been waiting till it came on sale a little bit, because there's a little bit like 80-90 bucks. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to wait till that one drops a little bit more. But I'm looking forward to playing that game. But yeah, more Avatar films. Are you excited about the idea? This is a franchise that's definitely not going anywhere for a while. But maybe having them every 2 to 3 years is probably the best thing, rather than going down the Marvel Star Wars route where they kind of shoved it in everywhere. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on more Avatar sequels. Let us know in the comments below. In our question of the day, which comes from Brendan, who says, do you think it'll ever get to a point where Disney only release movies straight to streaming, and then maybe on a limited theatrical release at all? 2023 wasn't a very good year for them in terms of box office numbers, and even though we hope it will improve over time, it might get to a point where all movie companies nowadays, not just Disney. I think there's a couple of things to take away from here. I think most of the big studios are kind of focusing a little bit more on theatrical releases first because it makes money. The simple truth is, if you put a film out in cinemas, you are going to make some money. You put it out on streaming, you might not necessarily do so. Netflix is going in a very different direction. They just want to go all in on streaming. That's what they want, and that's how they view it. That's their business model. That's what it all is. The studios have had a theatrical model, some of them for 100 years. They have been doing this. They know it works. Now, I do think in general, box office numbers, I don't know if they're ever going to go back to what they were years ago. I think those big box office weekends and stuff, I just don't think we're going back in the same numbers. I think technology at home and just habits and stuff have just been broken. Just don't need to. You know, you got a big flat screen TV and sound speakers and all the rest of it at home. You just don't necessarily need to. I don't think cinemas are as enjoyable as they used to be. And as time's gone on, it's just got easier to watch from home. So I don't think that's going anywhere, and they're trying to adapt to it. But if you can make a few $100 million or whatever it is for a film in cinemas, then you get the digital release, and then you get the streaming release. Most streaming movies that do really well generally get a theatrical release first. It's almost like advertising in advance. Doesn't always work. I mean, Argyle is one right now. It hasn't done really that well at the box office, but I'm sure when it drops on Apple TV Plus, it will get a little bit of a boost because it has been out in cinemas. Same thing with Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon. Just again, it's about making money. I do think we're definitely at a point now where maybe the budgets of these films are going to be drastically reduced. They're going to be starting to make some cuts. Maybe they're going to be shorter, less special effects, less big names and stuff getting. I think we're going to see a course correction in the budgets, because if you can trim off 50, 100 million off those costs at the start, that means then that you can make a lot better. I think we are going to be seeing Disney shifting away from streaming movies straight to Disney Plus, because it's just not cost effective for them. You know, it's like you can put out a $20-30 million movie. If it makes, 60-70 million, it's all automatically then paid for, and then they get the extra costs and stuff elsewhere. Just put that on streaming. How many more signups are you going to get? Is there many people not subscribing? Got very difficult, but I think there is a model in place for theatrical, and then digital, and then streaming. I think that's the best way to go. But in some ways, it has to stick around a while. Can't just rush it. Can't just roll through and expect it all just to happen like this. It's going to take time and get people used to it. Netflix has its plan. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to start seeing a lot cheaper movies, and maybe getting away from 3-4 hour epics that cost, with lots of special effects and stuff. Look at Indiana Jones. There was a whole scene in where they were out in the sea. They didn't probably need to do that. They could have just gone straight to the cave, and they could have cut that entire scene out and probably saved themselves a lot of money. But I'd love to know your thoughts on all this. Let us know any questions for tomorrow. I'll pick out the best one. It's going to be, as I said, going to be the quarterly update later today, so therefore I'll be covering all of that tomorrow. So there should be lots of news, I hope, coming out of that one. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.